by all accounts, this debate was thought to be crucial for the president and his chances for getting re-elected, especially after the first debate 2 weeks ago when the president looked, let's say, less competitive than Governor Romney. This time around, he was on the offensive, which got the media and his supporters very excited. According to television audience polls, the president came out as the winner in this debate. They kept arguing whose tax plan is going to add more to the country's gigantic debt, who will be better at competing with China and the rest of the world in terms of economic growth. And there was very little on foreign policy. There was one more debate coming up before the election, that one specifically on foreign policy. But there was one question about Libya and the murder of the American ambassador there, and the president did come up with a macho-style punchline to that. He said this.
We are going to find out who did this, and we're going to hunt them down. Because one of the things that I've said throughout my presidency is when folks mess with Americans, we go after them.
Well, as far as Libya, the administration would want to present the mission of toppling Gaddafi as a huge success, as they had before the tragic attack this September in Benghazi. But now it's hard to cover up the fact that Libya is very far from that success story, that it's a mess with radical forces on the rise. But again, these debates are not about in-depth discussions. They're more about who's going to deliver a better punchline, who will provide for a better show, essentially. In a sense, the news cycle here, focused entirely around the debate, has been like one big reality TV show with all these never-ending discussions on the body language of the candidates. All the channels do that. They invite experts to analyze the candidate's smile, their body posture as they stand up or they sit down during the debate. They, of course, have this cardiogram with the viewers' reaction to what they're saying. So there is a very skillful buildup of excitement here, which makes for great reality TV, but it's a big question whether Americans really have a choice. Something that has gone completely unnoticed, uncovered by the mainstream media here, by this non-stop reality TV, was the arrest of a presidential candidate in this election, Jill Stein, nominee from the Green Party. She was arrested shortly before the debate, right outside the town hall where this debate was being held. She and her running mate were protesting their exclusion from these presidential debates. They were asked to leave, they refused to do so, and they were arrested for blocking the traffic. The fact that there are other candidates in this presidential election outside these two parties, very few Americans know anything about. That is because, as Jill Stein told me when we sat down for an interview a few months ago, they're being pushed out of the debates by those who are interested in keeping it a two-horse race. She was referring to special interests. Take a listen.
What they really have is the support of the 1%, and then they have a propaganda campaign going on and intensive public relations and psychological warfare that's intended to convince people that they don't have any options. The American system is designed to eliminate political opposition, like some of the dictatorships that we criticize that have rigged political systems. In many ways, the American system is also rigged, but in ways that are not as straightforward.
Jill Stein will be on ballots, although not in all states. She was also telling me how hard it is for an independent candidate to get on those ballots in the U.S., that every state has its own intricate rules, essentially designed to keep it a two-party race. As far as these big televised presidential debates, they're organized by the Democratic and Republican parties through the Commission on Presidential Debates. So there's not much enthusiasm on part of that commission to let a third party in. But you would think the media, that's somewhere between discussing the body language of the candidates, the chemistry on stage, the dresses of the wives, that somewhere between all those things they would mention the arrest of a presidential candidate. But no, it's being completely ignored.